So I think we'll go ahead and get started. If you could please mute yourself, since there's so many of you on, which I'm so grateful for. If you're not already muted, please mute. And I'm hoping that this will be a very interactive presentation. So maybe we can utilize the chat when I'm asking some questions and we can get some feedback. I think that might be a good way to do that. All right. Let me go ahead and share my screen. My name is Sarah Gahn. I am the Outreach Coordinator for Counseling and Psychological Services, or CAPS. We will probably be referring to it as CAPS in this presentation, so I wanted to make sure everybody knew what that was. And hopefully we can get through this. And if you have any questions, again, please utilize the chat so that I can check it periodically and to make sure I'm answering everyone's questions. All right. So a little bit about what CAPS does. We provide confidential talk therapy by a variety of mental health professionals. We have licensed clinical psychologists, licensed marriage and family therapists, licensed clinical social workers, as well as supervised doctoral interns. We also see our students individually, in groups, or in couples therapy when those students are registered UCR students. We also do the first appointment we'll be scheduled for would be the initial intake. Basically an assessment that helps us in doing the treatment to kind of assess and guide a treatment plan with the student to see where they're at, what they may need as far as potential referrals and length of treatment, all of those things. We also provide consultations by phone to students in distress, or students who may be concerned for another student, to talk through or problem solve when a student is in distress, maybe with CTAs, faculty, staff, even family members. We are a confidential office, and so we will always maintain our confidentiality with that. Yes, first question, did we say that for couples therapy, they both need to be a student? So if you are in a couple with someone else and they happen to be a UCR student, we could do couples therapy with them. Okay. When appropriate for treatment, we also provide referrals off campus for long-term or specialty care, or for psychiatric medications on and off campus. I would also like to emphasize that students do not need insurance to access CAPS services. Services at CAPS are free to all registered students. No need for insurance. And then also you can check our website for many more resources, and we also have social media accounts, so you can give us a follow on Instagram and Facebook to stay up to date on what's going on at CAPS, and then also like mental health tips and resources throughout the quarter. All right. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the things that maybe students are hesitant to come seek help through CAPS, because there's like these myths, misnomers about mental health seeking in general. So a common misconception that is that counseling is only for people with severe emotional challenges, they're unstable, whatever that looks like, and something's wrong with them. But actually, everyone struggles with mental health at different times in their lives. Sometimes it's helpful to seek support when struggling to help manage difficult feelings or situations and decrease the impact on functioning, and specifically on university achievement. So as students go through big transitions, going to college, maybe changing majors, all of those things can play a big role in your mental health. And so we want to make sure that you know that CAPS is here to kind of help. If that becomes too much to bear, or if you're becoming overwhelmed, please reach out. And we'll talk about some resources as well, in addition to CAPS, if you're not feeling super comfortable. But we really want to say that, many people will go ahead and seek help through CAPS, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. And we're here to help our students. So Another misconception is it means that you have weak character or beliefs. It might go against your religious beliefs, your personal beliefs, any of those things. And so honestly, we see many groups that say they would probably never seek therapy. They actually do come to CAPS. So it kind of is a misnomer that, you know, people don't come to CAPS because they're weak, which is definitely not true. So we want to make sure that everyone understands that we're here for you, no matter what your beliefs are. Also, another thing that might come up is that, you know, if I can get in right away to CAPS, I'm going to change immediately, it's easy, and the counselors will be able to fix all my problems. And I think that that's a little misguided. Change doesn't happen right away. It doesn't happen overnight, and we really want to make sure that we're imparting some things to our students that they can take with them, how to deal with their struggles, because there's always going to be a new struggle in your life, but it's how we deal with it. And so hopefully we're able to help you on your journey in life and be successful. So that's our goal, is to kind of give you tools and impart knowledge about yourself and kind of help you on that journey and manage the stressors of concern, but most importantly, to help build skills that you can kind of use over your lifetime.
Craziness. So check it. It is BTS week here at the Tonight Show all week. 5 brand new performances, interviews, games.
But somebody's not muted, so please mute yourself.
Check it out tonight all week long.
Thank you. Okay. Another thing is we hear all the time that our staff is not representative of our campus community. We have concerns that CAPS clinicians are not as diverse as our campus, when in actuality, we actually come from varying ages, identity, privilege, power, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientations, with religious affiliations. We're very diverse at CAPS, and so we want to make sure that we're, you know, able to kind of support any of our students. And so we value diversity, inclusion, social justice. We all look different, but we're also here to support our UCR students and community. Another comment we've heard is that times take too long to get into CAPS. In reality, appointments are available within 2 to 3 days right now. And so over the last few years, CAPS has increased our staff by 1/3. And while we're still busy, we have made great strides to reduce our wait times. Currently, in this COVID-19 era, our wait times for initial assessments have actually decreased than when we were in person. Oftentimes, we're able to see students very quickly within a few days of them contacting us. Now, of course, that's going to change throughout the year as our demand kind of goes back and forth. We are diligent to create space where students can feel they can access services quickly. And again, we'll go into other directions you might take if you feel like you can't wait, but honestly, it's gotten a lot better. Our wait times have gotten much, much better. Oh. Will these slides be posted? I will be emailing this, and actually this is actually being recorded, so you all have access to all of these, and I believe I'll email them to Humberto. So if that you need that. Chat feature for those who need services but do not have privacy. There's not a chat feature. We do have, after you establish services, it is possible to do like a phone session if you're worried about privacy. But really, you could do it from anywhere that you could get some privacy. I mean, we've had students do it in their car. I don't think that it's ideal, but if you're concerned about privacy, that could be an option. If you're living on campus, you might be able to get talk to your like RD or RA, and they can provide a private space for you to do the services at. So there's always options in that. How many counseling sessions? Okay. So very common question. Thanks, Savannah Jackson. How many counseling sessions are available on the school's health insurance plan? So there isn't a fast answer for this. It's not a one size fits all kind of service. So in the past, I know we've kind of had talks about session limits. We are kind of moving away from that because we feel like everyone is different, everyone is unique. And so I'd rather our students think about CAPS as a resource they can utilize. And if you go there and you're talking in your initial assessment and maybe you need something that's long-term, these are deep-rooted challenges that you're having, it goes back a really long time, or it's just not something that we can work on quickly, and then that is definitely going to be something that we'll probably refer out. But if there are some, say you have those problems, but you also have some things that you can work on in the meantime, kind of short-term, we do offer short-term therapy. So whatever that looks like. It may be that you're through with your challenges in a couple of sessions, and that's great. Then you would move on. If you, we have you for 5, 6, 7, 8 sessions, that's a possibility too. It's also possible to go even further than that. So it's just going to depend on a case by case basis. It's not really something that we're putting out there as far as like limits, but it is something that you'll treatment plan with your therapist and be able to kind of go from there. So I hope that answers that question. You know, it's wild and can keep going back for 2 weeks to get something. That's interesting. I haven't heard that before, so I will take that feedback back to the team. And I'm hoping that that's a clue. Are there free sessions though? All of the sessions are going to be free. CAPS isn't going to charge you for your sessions. So there isn't a certain amount. So that's what I want to get away from. It is short-term therapy. All of your sessions are going to be free. You possibly, if we decide in your treatment plan with your therapist that you're not able to kind of get through the things that you're wanting to work on in a short period of time, then you would probably be referred out based on your insurance. So again, there's lots of different options. It's not something that's a one size fits all. So I don't want to say, oh, you get this many sessions, because the truth is that it's varying. There's some people that will go and only need 4 sessions. There are some people that will go and need 10. So it's just going to depend. And so I'm sorry that I know people want black and white, but it's really not black and white. Mental health isn't black and white. So we want to make sure that we're working individually with our students. And so that's going to be the answer. All right, I'm going to hop back onto my presentation real fast, and I'll go back and check for more questions in a little bit. So yes, hopefully our wait times aren't too long. We will adjust our process as we go. If we are starting to see a lot of things piling up, we'll go back to a triage kind of thing where you can talk to a therapist, they'll triage you and see, how quick to get you in, how rapidly we need to get you going. So that might be something that comes up in the future. It's not happening right now though, because we haven't had to. And then also I'm going to talk about another couple other options for therapy as well. So one of the alternatives for that is if you have UC SHIP or UCG SHIP insurance and you're trying to get into CAPS and it's just not happening in the time that you're expecting, then you could choose to use Life Health Online. It is a zero copay for those insurances. So that is something to utilize if that is becoming a concern for you. So I know that mental health can be challenging to get into right now because there's just so much going on, but we are really working and being very diligent and trying to make sure our services are available. So that's another option for you. Other things is CAPS don't utilize CAPS, or students don't utilize CAPS services. That's obviously not true. We have lots of students that utilize CAPS services. 12% of undergrads and 18% of graduate students last year visited CAPS. And so also I think with this new way of doing therapy and receiving services, it actually does help in the fact that it's a little more flexible in the way that you're getting your services from CAPS. So you're able to kind of access it from pretty much anywhere, anywhere you feel comfortable getting services. You don't have that walk up to the offices. Maybe you're across campus and you could get your appointment. You can just get online and boom, you're there. And also there's I can't spell it.
Well, it's yours, isn't it?
With
what you said no,
with those services. So being able to not have people see you going in and out might help. Just feeling more anonymous, feeling more confidential. So those are all things to highlight and point out in this new kind of way of doing things. So as I alluded to, during the COVID-19 pandemic, we are currently seeing students through online telemedicine, kind of very similar to what I'm doing right now. It's just one-on-one. Or if you're in a group, it would be a group. But you just call our main number, you can get a hold of our admin support. They can schedule you for an initial assessment. I know right now it might be a little tricky because people are trying to get all of their referrals refreshed. So that might be something that's a little tricky right at this moment, but that will surely go really quickly. Okay. So it's pretty easy. You just call our main number, you can get connected and speak to an admin assistant, and they can get you services. And then also, if you have something urgent, if it's after CAPS closes, if it's Saturday, Sunday, you can still call our main line, select option 1, and speak to a crisis counselor. So those crisis counselors are available 24/7. If you feel like you need something right now, but it's not life-threatening, but you just really need to talk to somebody right now, you can select that option for a crisis counselor and talk to a live person right now. So that is an option, but they are an answering service that hires clinicians to take the crisis call. So it's not affiliated necessarily with PCR, so you wouldn't be able to make appointments if you went to that option. So please don't use it for that. We talked about it being free for all students, and it is confidential. CAPS is one of the few confidential offices on campus, meaning that we are held under HIPAA. And so even if your mom, dad, brother, sister, coach, whoever called, they wouldn't be able to necessarily know that you are a student that's going to us unless you sign a release of information allowing us to talk to them. So again, confidential, you wouldn't be able to disclose any information, even if you're receiving services, you wouldn't be able to give out anything unless you allow us to. So that's all up to you and your comfort. All right, immediate safety concerns, please call, if you're on campus, please call UCPD or 911. Otherwise, for regular, not urgent consultations, questions or appointments, you can call our main line, or for urgent consultations, you can call and speak to that crisis counselor that I talked about earlier. You may want to consult if you even notice another student that's maybe going through changes in functioning. They're not eating, they're not getting out of bed, they're not showing up for their meetings, their Zoom links, they're not turning in homework, whatever it looks like. That's something you can definitely consult on. If there's been a recent traumatic event or a loss, that's another thing that you can consult on, or verbalizations in writing or posting of material that's concerning. So if you're seeing online, your friend is saying some things that you're really concerned about, that's another reason to consult. CAPS does that consultation. You can also consult with student affairs case management, and they're available for consultations as well. Okay. Let me answer some questions if you have any. Yes, okay. So are there typically more students that need services around finals, and can you still access CAPS during holidays, non-instructional days? Okay, so Grace, the answer is yes and no. Around finals, we do tend to see an uptick in services requested. So it does tend to get a little more busy around that time. People are feeling a little extra stressed, extra pressure, more anxiety, their depression's kicking in, whatever it is. We do see some uptick then. And then also, can you access CAPS during holidays? Yes and no. So CAPS is closed when the campus is closed. So I know during the holidays, I think there's like the weeks between Christmas and New Year's that we're closed, but there are times that you guys are out that we're still open. So as long as the campus is open, CAPS is open. So hopefully that helps. Is there a number to call to dispatch a psychiatric response team or police? You can call the police and ask them to dispatch a psychiatric response team. Tara, that's a great question. I would, when I call, I would say, this is something that's psychiatric. Please send your pet team, and they should be able to, hopefully, if there's people working available, they'll be able to do that. But always give them a heads up, let them know what's going on so they can be prepared. A lot of times they'll be more gentle if they realize that it's something that's going on mental health-wise rather than something that's, life-threatening as far as hurting someone else. Good question. Yes. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about therapy assisted online. We often refer to this as TAO. I want to point this out because it is therapy, but in a self-help kind of way. So there's self-help modules that students struggle with the most. So it's useful for non-life-threatening situations. It's flexible, you can log in anytime, and it's a platform. So if you go to the path.taoconnect.org, you can sign up with your UCR email. That's all you need is a UCR email, and get the self-help guide. And so you're able to kind of look at things that you may be struggling with, anxiety, depression, and there'll be tools to help you with those things. And so if you're waiting for an appointment at CAPS, you could do that. Or if you just don't want to necessarily commit to full-on therapy, this is another way to get and access services that are completely anonymous and at your leisure. So it's flexible, you can log in anytime, and it's confidential. So that is there for all of y'all. All right, so I would like to point out too that due to our current climate, our CAPS clinicians are licensed to practice in California. So we know that some of our UCR students have been out of state and out of the country, especially with this remote world that we're in. So we want to make sure that you have access to information on how to get services if you're in that situation. So to just repeat, our clinicians are licensed to practice in California, meaning that the client or whoever, the student who is receiving services must be located in that state. If you are not located in that state, then you would go through like Life Health Online, which is what I talked about earlier. You have UC SHIP or UCG SHIP, or this Anthem Blue Card PPO program. And again, that's if you have our UCG SHIP or USHIP insurance. If you have your own insurance, then you would go through your own provider. If you're outside of California, if you're in California, then we can absolutely see you with CAPS. Again, that's just for safety kind of things, if so that we can know the resources and to be able to guide you in California. And again, our licensure is on there as well. There's international student hotlines and hotlines in various provinces of China that's also been updated on this slide. So if you're interested in those, they're available as well. And then I want to talk a second about some self-care, and maybe you all can chime in too. I'm, definitely looking for other ways to do self-care, but I think self-care during this time is critical. There are so many things going on in the world that's affecting someone's mental health. And I think it's important to know yourself, know your body. Many times our bodies will give us indicators of our mental health as we are kind of, it's all one person. So these things can often affect one another. It's not just I have a mental health problem. You might have mental health and it's affecting your physical health, or physical health, it's affecting your mental health. So it's all kind of one. So it's important to take care of you as a whole person. And so I think that you may notice, and certainly that I notice first when I feel stressed, muscle tension, I get headaches, maybe restlessness, inability to shut your brain off when you're trying to relax. All of these things may be physical symptoms, but they also can point to other things going on like anxiety, depression, stress, and those are just to name a few. Do any of you all have things that happen with you when you know you're getting stressed or you need to take a break? Go ahead and put it in the chat, because it might be something for someone else. If you feel like there's something like a cue that your body gives you that you're like, ooh, I need to take a step back. Loss of appetite, migraines, yes. Great. Shoulder pain, yes. Me too, Connie. Yeah, so hair loss. Yeah, those are all great things. And it's great that you all know yourselves enough to realize when you need to take a break and kind of unplug. I'm seeing a lot in the chat too about how you kind of unwind or how you can kind of cope with some of this stuff, reading, coloring, going on walks, exercise, sewing, knitting. All of those things are naps, great. Stretching, highly, especially for those that said back pain, headaches, all of that. Stretch, do some stretches every morning. Get out there and start your day off right by stretching and making sure that all your muscles are loose, because we tend to tighten up and then we get those headaches and it's all, like I said, intertwined. And get outside, read or watch a movie, something that you enjoy, maybe take a long bath or shower, connect with others. I think that this is a big thing to kind of think about when you're so maybe in this world of virtual, is connecting with others. And maybe it's going to an outside space and standing 6 feet apart, but talking to a friend. Maybe it's doing it online. Maybe it's texting or picking up the phone and actually hearing their voice. All of those things can be really good for us when we feel like we're connected with other people, and also when we feel like we're, in the same boat. We're all kind of dealing with similar things. So taking care of plants, gardening, very, very helpful. Taking breaks. Again, noticing when you need to take a break. Sometimes we need to unplug. So all of those things, it's so important throughout your life, now more than ever, and just how to know your limit, and when you need to kind of seek professional help too. So if you're trying all these things, it's maybe not working, or you're still struggling, then that would be a sign that maybe you should seek some professional help. Okay. Other ways to get support, I have listed some other great resources. These are both national and local resources. So please, if you take your phone out, take a screenshot, you can do that real fast. But the National Suicide Prevention Hotline is there. There's support for LGBTQ hotlines, trans hotlines. There's a California Warm Line. The California Warm Line is really interesting. I think it's a great idea. It's a peer-led warm line. I mean, these are not professionals, these are lay people. They're just peers that want to help and listen, and they're there to listen. So it's not for emergencies, it's more if you just want to connect, if you just want to have somebody to talk to, or maybe talk something out that's confidential that you don't want your friends to know about, that would be a good option. So also, please visit our website, counseling.ucr.edu. There's a whole host of resources on there for you all. And we're adding more and more all the time. So please check that out. There's lots of resources there. Additional resources, response protocols. This is the red folder here on the right-hand side. It's a quick kind of decision tree, like how to know if somebody's in crisis. So if you're experiencing like a friend that is really having a hard time, or a classmate or something like that, this would be a good way to go. It's available on our website and linked in a PDF form, so you have access to it right from your home. But that's a quick one. There's also promoting student mental health, and that is actually a very long guide. And it is for faculty and staff, but you guys can use it as well to help with learning about mental health and how to respond to some mental health things. And again, if you find yourself in a situation where you need to get some good info on how to kind of help a friend, that might be a good resource for you. This is our CAPS team, and we've added a few more since then, but we want to make sure that you are feeling confident about mental health services available at CAPS, how you can access those services, and we're hoping that your university experience will be a good one and that we can help in any way we can. And so that is what I have. I do have about 10 minutes for questions. So if y'all have some questions, look at the chat. What is the easiest way to find all of these numbers? Are they on the CAPS website? Yes. Caitlin, they are on the CAPS website. They are available. They're going to be under the resources and the self-help and making connections button. So it's on our main page. It's really close to the top. There's a bunch of buttons, and you click that button and it'll bring up all those great resources that I showed. So yes, it's on our website. Are there volunteer opportunities? Not at the moment, Grace. There are not volunteer opportunities at CAPS right at this moment. There is ways to get connected. We do have a mental health subcommittee through Healthy Campus that we are always welcome students on that mental health subcommittee. So if you're interested in figuring out what's going on and offering suggestions and all of that, that would be a way to get involved that way. Or you could go to Active Minds through the WELL, and I believe that's a national or a national kind of organization. So there's chapters all throughout the country, and there is one at UCR. So that's another way to get involved in mental health. Is TAO available only during the school year? No, Jessica, TAO is available whenever you want to access it. So as long as your UCR email is active, you would have access to TAO. It is available throughout the year whenever you are. So it's not something that goes down at any time, unless they're having some difficulties with any website. But for the most part, it's available all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on Christmas. So something to think about. Any other questions? Loving all the questions so far. You're welcome. If you or anyone you know find difficulty in school, you can contact Student Disability Resource Center. Yes. Thank you, Tara. And I think Tara also posted in our chat some resources earlier. Yes, LA County, there's a psychiatric emergency button in LA County. So there is that. In Riverside County, there's really not that I'm aware of. I actually used to work at the mental health urgent care in Riverside. That's another option available to you. It's available to anyone in Riverside County. If you want a walk-in service, they're open for walk-ins. That's all it is a walk-in, no reservations. And you can walk in there if you're in crisis, and they can help you as well. And that is located by the Tyler Mall. So just north of the Tyler Mall, if y'all are from Riverside area or in this area and you're looking for something that is not quite emergency, but very close, that would be a good option. And you don't need insurance to go there. So another thing to think about. Thank you. Anything else? I hope I answered all of your questions. If you have any further questions, you can contact me through my email, sarah.gon@user.edu, or look on our website. So hopefully that helps everyone. And thank you for letting me be here today. I'm very excited to start this new school year. So thanks. Just to clarify, right now, no in-person sessions, right? Yes, correct. There are no in-person sessions right now, as kind of the university is mandated that anyone that doesn't absolutely have to be on campus shouldn't be on campus. So we are all working remotely and doing the best we can to navigate all of this. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate you. Hopefully that helps. And I'll be on if anybody has any other questions they want to get answered. Sarah.gon, Bosco. Sarah.gon. So my name should be up in my right here.